and stuff about songwriting. And I teach on 3, and I love your principles. I'm going to use that one too. I preach on 3 things. I say I preach, I do. First of all, it's sacrifice. And what I mean by that is you have to be able to decide if you want to make the sacrifice to maybe even pick up your family and move to where the music is. You have to be where the industry is. I don't care if you're going to be a pilot or a teacher or if you're going to be an actress. You're not going to be an actress in the middle of Iowa. You're going to be an actress in New York or LA or in some cases other Atlanta and Florida do film, you know. So, and Nashville does too. They got Nashville show. I saw that. Don't believe everything you see. But anyway, the first thing I would say is that you have to be inclined to make that big decision. You know, and if you're single, it's easy. I was single when I left home. I was by myself and I came down here, and I actually had an incredible, some things happened to me. Nice. I played at a showcase, and this lady heard me, and she said, you don't need to be playing these happy hours or anything, you need to be a songwriter. And she gave me some money to be able to stay here. Her name is Joan Edwards. I never saw her again. She was like an angel from the sky. Oh. And the day that I got the first check from the courier, literally, I took it to the bank in cash because I was so happy. I go to the teller and I realized that I have a Pennsylvania. I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Go Steelers. But oh, we have one. Anyway, I had this Pennsylvania driver's license, and I had this check from Joan Edwards, and I go to the teller, and the teller's looking at the check and looking at my license, and the manager walks back behind me and says, "What's the matter?" And the lady says, "Well, he's got this license," and before she could even get out the check name, he looked at it and he said, "Joan Edwards, cashier." Wow. So I don't know who this lady was. But here's the best part of the story. You feel great about yourself. All of a sudden I have money in my pocket. And for the week before that, I was walking down Music Row. You know where the RCA building is, the 2-story one, the old one? I was walking down the alley behind there, and every day I noticed that the musicians went in there. So that day, when I was feeling all hot about myself, I went over there and I saw the musicians go in, and when they turned right to go into the studio, I turned left and went down a hallway. And one door was open, and I knocked on it, and the guy said, "Come in." And I went in, and he said, "How the hell did you get in here?" And I said, "Well, I came in with the musicians, but I came down here, and your door was open." He said, "Anybody could think of that. Sit down." I don't know if you could do that today. But that situation between Joan Edwards giving me that money and me playing some songs for that guy at RCA, which, by the way, ended up to be, and I didn't know it at the time when he sent me around town to play for a couple of people, he was the president of the label, Gene Ferguson. And that same day that I got the money, I got a publishing deal.
No way.
I swear. And it was just really amazing. So let's talk about I made the sacrifice, but then you have to have the discipline, which you touched on. You have to be able to write all the time and find good co-writers to work with. And the discipline of it is so much that you can't even imagine. I mean, if a guy wants to build a house, he's going to work at building houses a long time to get it right. And sometimes you write a lot of bad songs to make one stick. So, and sometimes you go back and get an old song and put it together with something and it makes a great song. But it all takes that discipline of working on the music. And I get up and try to write. I try to write something every day. I don't care if it's just a line. I do my writing in the car. I drive around and get lyrics, and I love it today because you just push a little button, digital. Everything's digital. But and I'll keep this short. But the next part is the hardest part of everything that you'll ever go through as a songwriter. I still go through it today. Is rejection. And I tell everybody, there's writers that were here in town when I started that were so much better than I was. I mean, they had the gift more than I have the gift. I was blessed with something. They really had something, and the rejection caused them to go back home and do something different. And we missed all that music that they had. can tell you from experience that even when you have a hit, and I've had a couple of them, you still get rejection. You still are fired up about a song, and you take it. I'm working on something with Sony right now where I can't believe that they don't get what I see in something. And there's a thin line between getting that at them and just going about your business and hoping the guy next door likes it. But if you can't handle the rejection, it's really, really, really hard to be in this business.
Yeah.
So, anyway, those are the